Cool. That all works. Tremendous. Cool. Last session, you continued making your way up through up through the levels of the lighthouse, just outside of Hailing Cove, encountering some more of those flying bird humanoid type creatures, some giant fleas, until you reached the roof of the lighthouse, where you engaged in combat with some more of those bilge goblins, as well as a Sahugin. It was a quite mobile combat, including Artuir jumping off the roof of the lighthouse down to the ground level, and Carl repeatedly chasing these misty stepping, teleporting goblins who seem to be doing a very good job of frustrating him, including Carl running into a window, from what I recall.
Yep, ran into a window.
Nice. Eventually you put an end to these creatures, and you're able to repair the lighthouse as well, and get it functioning again. You camped overnight at the lighthouse before heading back to town. Whilst you were in town, you once again ran into the mysterious John, who you had encountered previously, and then had apparently up and left in their desire to not want to be involved in a scary combat. You began talking to the captain of the Grey Glass, and through some assistance and intervention from John, what was supposed to be 5 days worth of repairs turned into less than a day's repair. John was able to do a rather magnificent job in getting the boat ready to travel again. Before you did leave, you did spend a little bit of time looking through. You found a few bits of loot whilst at the lighthouse, including a manifest of the ship, the Whippet, which the Baron had previously reported as lost. Whilst going through this manifest, you found it was essentially a list of locations and dates, seemed to be places the ship had sort of made port in the last sort of year or so. And there were a few places that stood out in particular. The ship had made 3 journeys to Shate within the last year. Travelling to and from Shate is not unheard of, but certainly not particularly common. And then 2 of those journeys as well being within the last 3 months, so quite recently. And then there was also one particularly interesting note, which sort of surprised the captain especially, that this ship had made port and visited the Blacklands, which is the largely unexplored continent to the south of Austria. This was something that the captain found quite remarkable and quite unexpected. You've allowed John to work his wonders and repair the ship, and John himself, in return for sort of his assistance, expressed interest in leaving town, coming along on your journey, and accompanying you along to Marshall Folk, which you travel to overnight, and we pick up just after midday, as the ship is arriving in the village or villages that make up Marshall Folk. It's a slightly overcast, rainy day. Marshall Folk is a collection of small villages, of 3 small villages along the coast of the northwest of Austria. Together, they're of a decent size, but it's pretty small. The population's less than 2,000 in total. Not a particularly big place. Even as you pull into port, this isn't like a bustling port. There is a jetty, and there's probably room for 2 or even 3 good sized boats, But really, you can see there's a few sort of small sort of dinghies, really, rather than even like large fishing boats pulled up here, presumably belonging to locals. But this isn't a particularly large or active port by the look of it. It's more there for convenience than it is for maybe commerce or any kind of like organised travel. Has anybody been to Marshall Folk before?
Yes.
Yeah, John mentioned they had before, didn't they?
Yeah. No.
It's so again, Marshall Folk is part of Austral, so there would be some amount of knowledge amongst yourselves of it. It's not like a unheard of corner of the world. It again, similar to Hailing Cove, is in the area of Austral that was previously the Halfling nation, and Marshall Folk is very, very predominantly Halfling. There are non-halflings live there. You know, it's part of Austral, but it's a majority halfling town. And you can see that even as you're pulling, you can see a lot of the general architecture of the buildings, even just the size of them, is all quite in line with people who are rather shorter than some members of the party. The captain brings the ship into this long jetty. And he tells you, this is Marshall Folk, but he's made it quite clear that obviously they've already lost 2 days to this damage that was done to the ship when they had to stop at Hailing Cove, and he's got his own tasks to be dealing with essentially, so that they're quite keen to continue on their journey. Is there anything anybody wants from or of the captain before?
Where are they heading next?
They're currently planning... Oh, sorry, can anybody say something quick for me?
No.
That's fine. That's cool. All my audio keeps going really weird. I can't tell if my volume is screwed, but I think that's working. They are on their way round to Faldrel, the capital of the capital of Chalk. So that's the capital of the Dwarven nation, just to the sort of southeast of Austral.
Oh, right. So they're going all the way around.
Yeah.
Okay. And how long are they going to be staying here before they set off for there?
Their intention is to pretty much carry on. They're stopping to drop you guys off, but they have no intention to stay.
Fair enough.
Unless that's something you wish to negotiate, but.
No, I don't think so. What about the rest of you?
No, I'll be back 1 second as well.
Okay. So I guess we'll take all our stuff off the ship then.
Mm-hmm. I assume that ship's manifest, and obviously you shared it with them last time, but that is staying in your possession.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
yeah.
Cool.
Church of Nature. Look over at Elwyn. So this is where Z's from then?
Yeah, I guess we're going to go straight to the gem shop, right?
That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, you the ship, as they stops, lets you guys off, doesn't really make any real stop themselves. They're quite keen to go on their business, and you see them already sort of readying and beginning to leave as you get off. As you enter the village, you can see there's a smattering of like residential, like small homes around you, but you can see what looks like the sort of there's some slightly larger, more sort of bustling area up ahead of it. Looks like the sort of centre of town. There's plenty of life around the town currently. Although it's an overcast, rainy day, there's still plenty of people sort of making their way around around the village at the moment. It's relatively, it's pretty busy still. You guys want to spend some time looking? You just want to look for a gem shop, or you want to
Just gonna ask the first
make some
person I see.
halfling friends? First person you see. Yeah, you see a female halfling, around 40 maybe, and she actually comes up to you as you guys are sort of making your way up the street into the main sort of area of the village, and she stops you and she's like, "You just got off that ship, have you?"
Yeah.
What brings you to Marshall Folk?
We hear there's a rare gem shop here.
A rare gem shop. Well, who be telling you that?
Some merchants.
Merchants. Well, you'll be wanting the Dalins, I imagine.
Is there more than one?
Two of them. Couple, lovely couple as well.
Where would we find them?
She points, sort of gives you a few directions. Only a couple of minutes walk away from where you are currently. Yeah, she sort of gives you the directions, points you up in that direction. Might just be worth mentioning for anyone that's forgot, because it's been some time, I suspect. As far as you're aware from what Z told you, their parents are dead. That was mentioned some time back. I even went back to check notes to be sure you're aware of this. But yeah, Z's parents are deceased.
Guessing he worked in a gem shop, though.
Yeah, I think that's what he said.
Probably should have listened better.
You going to the old gem shop, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know where it is?
It's been a while since I've been in Marshall Folk, but
Yeah,
I don't know where it is.
yeah, you would definitely remember it. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, it's just follow me. I'll tell you what, we'll go there now, and I'll take you there.
Okay.
I'll lead the way.
Yeah, that's cool.
As we're walking, keep an eye out for any, drow specifically. I'd like you to mention any that we see, but elves, I guess, as well.
Yeah, that's cool.
One next to you.
With the exception of Elwyn.
Who?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, you start making your way down. Let's get. I'll get everyone to make a perception check for me. I mean, it's relatively easy to pick up if you're just looking to see what you get. But we'll see if you pick up anything in particular beyond the obvious. Nice. Yeah, as you sort of start making your way through town, strongly, I mean, possibly of all the locations you've been so far, this is the one that seems most strongly dominated by one particular race. Is very, very predominantly halfling. You do, as you pass one road, you see just down to the right hand side, as you're heading down, so there's a road going off to the side. There's a female dwarf there, with this sort of long, sort of just past the shoulder, black hair. Probably stands out as the first non-halfling you see. But you don't really see it like this. This is almost entirely halflings at this point. Nothing else particularly stands out, takes anyone's notice as you're making your way. Yeah, you are able to make your way down to the jewelry shop known as the Rolling Stone.
That's a great.
Oh yeah, here it is. Just remember, don't know the people in it though. Never been in there before, but been past it plenty of times. So should we go in?
Yeah.
Yeah, and as you get there, you You open this. It's quite a modest building. It's a brick building, but it's quite shabby. Not necessarily run down, but certainly it's aged and it's probably not as well maintained as it has been in the past. You open the door. As you do, there's a small bell that just sort of rings. The door clips as it opens, and you do hear a voice. A male voice just calls out and says, "Oh, just one moment." You can have a look around. As you enter the building, it almost looks like a residential building almost, where somebody's sort of operating out of their own residence. But there's quite a impressive collection of jewels, rocks, sort of dotted around. You can see on some sort of tables and desks around the room. Yeah, you sort of make your way in, close the door, and a moment later, a very tall, slender built, older, not elderly, but older, sort of male drow walks into the room. He's got this like long, flowing white hair and a really very, very neatly trimmed beard. Very almost sort of almost a little extravagant in how neatly it is trimmed. This is like very, very well maintained, and he's got these eyes that are like a real, just a piercing shade of red. Wearing this very, again, quite nice looking, but not let's say extravagant silk outfit. And you do notice on his hand one very expensive looking signet ring, which sort of stands out quite of note. He sort of walks into the room. He says, welcome to my shop. Please take a look around. Let me know if you see anything that catches your eye in particular. A wide variety of fine jewels and precious stones, but if there's something specific you're looking for, you need but ask. Or perhaps you're just browsing.
Just browsing, I think, at the moment. We've just got into town. But,
yeah. Well, welcome. Marshall Folk is, if I don't mind saying, the finest town in Austria. It's been my home for some time, and a fine home. Welcoming people we are. If you welcoming, yeah. What brings you to town?
Look over at Elwyn. Look back. Just travelling around, I think.
As you look over to Elwyn, this gentleman looks at Elwyn, and you can see there's not a gasp, but it's clearly like a moment of recognition. And he looks over, he says, an elf. Well, I'm very happy to see you, and you are very, very welcome in Marshall Folk, and particularly here.
I go to shake his hand, just have a good look at his signet ring, and if I recognise it from anything.
Yeah. I'll take your previous perception. That's fine. Yeah, you sort of shake his hand, and you can see this. It's like I say, it's like a large signet ring. There is a symbol on it. Symbol doesn't look familiar to you. Doesn't sort of necessarily sort of register anything, but you can just from your own knowledge, you can recognise it's definitely it's sort of like elven design. There's no words or text or anything like that, but just the general look of the design. It's not really like a picture. There's just this really intricate, almost like a combination of triangles in various shapes, and you can actually see as you get close where the shapes of the triangles are carved in. Each of them has very fine, almost looks like stones or jewels, sort of just really nicely built into the actual engraving itself, and they sort of sparkle in different colours as you get close. Definitely of elven design, but certainly doesn't sort of trigger anything in terms of meaning or any kind of like symbology that you're aware of. No.
Okay. Um, Hello. By the way, your ring, I like it. It looks very nice. Is the signet, is the symbol from anything? I kind of don't recognise it from anything.
Well, most observant. It's well, if you really would like to know, this was designed by my grandfather, who was in the trade himself, and he passed it down to his son, my father, and he passed it down to me, and well, I suppose one day I'll pass it down to my son.
Sure. Son here, is he, or?
No, no, no. They Martial folk was small and slow, I suppose, for what he wanted from his life. But we hear from him. We keep in touch regularly. He's out there making his way in the capital, and we're most proud of him.
Oh, we've just come from the capital.
Wow, we don't get many from Griffinstill coming through this way. That's rather exciting. Big city folk wouldn't come down to our small town.
I think I met a drow elf there. I wonder if that was your son, because I've not met many of them there. Can't remember his name now, though.
Well, from what Z tells us, there's that drow in particular, and even our cousins like yourself, quite a rarity in the city. Not always the I suppose it's when you know somebody so well and you've brought them up from birth, it's easy to read between the lines of what they do and don't tell you. Maybe it was not as welcoming a place as he hoped he would find, but like everything, the best thing we can say about Z is that he always made the best of anything.
Carl coughs and distracts himself looking over at some of the gems.
Mm. And he carries on to speak of you, Elwyn. So you, if you don't mind me saying, you don't really look like the city type yourself.
No, I was just travelling, looking for things.
And if you don't mind me being so forward, I suppose, but curiosity has always been something that really appealed to me. I could never put a question away once it was there. Whereabouts do you originate from?
My how old are you? You might actually know. The tower I used to live in was destroyed like 700 odd years ago. Depending if you're old enough, you probably won't know it. Since then, I've just been travelling the world.
I'm sorry to hear that. One's home is always a special and important place. You never really find anywhere quite like it.
That is correct.
We ourselves, myself and my wife, we didn't lose our city like yourself, but we found ourselves in need of a new home, and we were very lucky to find martial folk. The people here, despite the wider feelings of Austria as a nation, have always made us most welcome. It's been a fine home for us.
Are there many of you here in Martial Folk?
Many of Drow?
Drow, yeah.
Just just me and Rosie, Z, until he went his way.
Must be lonely.
You know, I can't really say I agree. It's the people here. They are as welcoming as any people I've ever known. There's how can one be lonely when you have family and friends?
That's a thought.
Does anything catch your eye in particular?
The pearls in that cabinet. The specifically the sort of the larger white one there. That's quite nice.
A very fine piece, yes.
Yeah. I think. What's the price on that?
Well, for a gentleman like you, we'd normally call that 100 gold pieces, but it's a quiet day and travellers coming by and wanting a keepsake of this place. We'll call that 90 gold pieces.
Oh, sold. I'll take that. Oh, the price dropped as I was clicking it.
Magical.
And I will indeed buy a ring, buy a pearl from them. Do you make jewellery here, or is it just gemstones that you sell?
Yes, we mostly to order, really. But yes, absolutely. I mean, if you have something in particular in mind, we can put it together. If we don't have the metals required, we can always talk to the lovely folk over at the blacksmiths and get what we need. If there's something you had in mind.
No. I was just thinking, just wondering.
Is there any on display?
What jewellery?
Yeah, jewellery. Yeah.
There are a couple of signet rings. Not quite as impressive as the one which he's wearing. But yeah, there's a few signet rings. That's the only sort of prepared jewellery you can see.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Did you make these rings?
Either myself or my wife Rosie. Yes.
Well, I have to say, very good quality work. I fancy myself a bit of an handyman myself, but I'm a bit of a, how do you say, a jack of all trades, as it were. Do a bit of this, a bit of that. Nothing I make is particularly special, but that's some serious work, so well done. Or to your good wife.
Oh,
congratulations.
It's most kind. Thank you. I appreciate that. We're very, very proud of the work we do.
I couldn't help overhearing that you was talking about where this chap here was from, and I was wondering, don't mind me asking, where is it that you is from? Because you say there's not many of your types around here, but then you must have come from somewhere else. And where was that?
Well, funny you should ask, I suppose. Well, myself and Rosie, initially we came from Dwarf. That was what we called home, and
Dwarf. I've heard it's a lovely place.
It's
never had a chance to be there myself, but I've heard it's lovely.
It's a fine area of the world, but places change, and sometimes the people in a place don't keep up with the change. we we were two young people from very different social standings where we came from, and Rosie's choice to be with me was not something that her father saw eye to eye with.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry to hear that. But it seems like you've got yourself a nice little niche here carved out. Pardon the pun, of course. Over in Marshall folk.
I would hate to sound bitter, but the loss was his.
Quite right you are, sir. Quite right you are. Apologies, I'm just eating something at the moment.
Have to pardon my friend. He's less couth.
No. It's absolutely fine. The importance of good mastication should never be underestimated.
Well,
So,
speak.
oh, no. Don't worry, I'll finish eating. You carry on.
Well, speaking of eating, yeah, we've let's say we've just arrived here. Is there anywhere you would recommend for us to perhaps get lodging for the night?
Lodging for the night. There's really only one place. You got the Long in Lion. It's the only tavern in town, and it's the only beds. unless old Rosie wants to put you up, but lovely fellas you seem to be. That I'm not quite sure she'll be wanting that.
So is that a would you recommend it, or should we perhaps be thinking of camping out in the woods?
No, absolutely. Morin will make you most welcome. He is probably the most generous man I've ever met. He's a fine gentleman.
Morin, you say, and well, we shall make a point of when we get there saying that you recommended him. Who what was your name? Sorry,
Did I not introduce myself?
I got no idea.
I'm so sorry. Dwendal Dalin. Proud to welcome you to the Rolling Stone.
Dalin. Nice to meet you, and I'll reach forward and offer my hand.
Yeah, he shakes your hand. Then he looks over to Arthur quick and just says, "Oh yeah, of course you can buy 300 gold pieces worth of diamonds. You're very quiet tonight, but that's not a problem."
Well, look round at my companions. Shall we
Oh, yeah. Have you heard from your son lately? 'Cause there was some nasty attacks in Griffill before we left. When was the last time you heard from him? There's these weird monsters were lurking around.
And he calls sort of back into sort of room behind sort of where you are currently. He says, Rosie, when was the last time we heard from Zirviel? And you can hear sort of some movement, and then this really sort of beautiful, graceful female drow, this sort of really long, flowing black hair, sort of she walks into the room and she says, "Oh, Drendel, must have been the best part 10 days, maybe even 2 to 3 weeks. He's gone quiet, but he was busy. He was keeping himself busy with work was the last thing he mentioned."
working Griffin still? Did he? What does he do?
And Dwendal sort of turns back and he looks quite proud. He tells you, no. He was he actually was helping to, I suppose,
And how long ago did he set off?
Oh, I suppose it's a good 6-7 months since he was here, Rosie. And you can she immediately sort of interrupts. She says, it's 6 months and a week, and you should know that.
So, sorry, it was Rosie, was it? Is that short for anything, Rosie?
Yeah. Rosalia.
Rosalia. I would say Rosie's not a very dwarfian name, if you get my drift.
Well, Dwendal here he was always quite the charmer. Rosie was the name he gave me, and I guess it's stuck ever since. Rosalia was what my family called me.
A very nice name, both of them.
Hey, and yours, good sir.
My name? Oh, it's not as nice as yours, no.
Well, I'll be the judge of that.
Alright then, if you say so. Oh, sorry, did you want my name?
I have no intentions to take it from you, but just to know it would be nice.
Oh, I'll share it with you then. It's John. John, they call me.
A pleasure to meet you, John.
And you.
And Rosie, similar to Dwendal, sort of sees you at this point, Elwyn, and she says, well, an elf. Well met, my friend.
Well met.
Was it my imagination, or was there just a little bit of a edge to that? Well, an elf.
You can make an insight check if you want.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Where is it? Oh, there. Yeah, definitely.
You don't read much into it other than a passing comment. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Second.
Well, no, I'm gonna look around and sort of, with body language, try and suggest that we should leave.
Yeah.
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 Just as we're going out, just sort of, Carl will sort of pause for a second and then turn back around and then again shake Drenden's hand. Nice to meet you.
A pleasure, and enjoy your stay.
Thank you.
You leave the Rolling Stone. Again, find yourselves out on this sort of overcast, rainy sort of street. Make of that encounter what you will, but it seems that you have successfully encountered Zirviel's deceased parents.
What was I going to say? So as we're walking out of there, well, not as we're walking out of there, after we walked out there, I'll say to them, so, wasn't it you're looking for somebody, weren't you, around here? Who was you looking for?
Someone who was born here, but I think they've moved on.
Oh, you just missed them, did you? Oh, that's a shame. Oh, well, never mind.
What do you make of them, Elwyn?
Not too sure, because I'm pretty sure Z said they were dead.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Maybe just
kids.
trying to be, yeah.
kids want to make a break.
Maybe you wanted to be a sad story because listen to Leo Kin talk too much.
Yeah. Just wanted the attention of.
I wonder if Archery would use his ability to sense undead whilst in there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could have been undead. Could have checked the silver arrows worked.
Yeah, indeed. Well, they had silver in the shop.
Yeah.
Or maybe let's talk about that, and then maybe we'll go back and visit them again, and ask Arthur to do that. That's really throwing me. I don't know.
Go and get something to eat. Have a drink.
Yeah, that's a cracking idea.
Yeah.
Maybe we could find out a bit more from the people in the town and see what they remember of Z being in the village.
You want to head over to the town, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Make your way over to the longing line. As you sort of enter, you spot quite quickly that female dwarf you spotted previously. She stood behind the bar actually as you enter. Stands a little bit taller than the halflings, but still is a dwarf. Is not as tall as the party. As you sort of enter, she immediately calls out. She says, 5 ales?
6.
A wine, please.
6 ales and a wine. Bring her over in a moment. Take a seat.
Well, wine, eh? Arc at him.
Big spender.
Mr. Fancy Pants.
He'll be buying the grilled salmon off the menu next.
It's more like cheese and crackers.
The tavern itself's pretty quiet at the moment. There's a small smattering of people about, but it looks certainly is not, you would imagine, sort of peak time right now. It's relatively uninhabited. Other than yourselves, there's maybe 7-8 other patrons, so it's pretty quiet. You take a seat. It only takes a few moments. This female dwarf brings over the 6 ales and a wine. She pops down. She says, "It's quite enough. We'll keep track behind the bar and tally it up when you're done. Don't mind me asking. You new in town? You looking for work or?"
It's the barmaid person.
Yes.
I would assume she's probably seen me in here before.
Yes. Yeah, that's reasonable. Yeah. She says, and she looks over, she recognises you. She says, the handyman. We've not seen you in a while. What brings you back with your new friends?"
Well, he knows me. I goes where things are broken, and if I'm gone for a while, things are likely to be broken, so I come back and fixes them.
You calling me broken, you cheeky git?
Not you, no. Well, if you've got any work for me, then do let me know and I'll come and fix it for you.
I can, I'll speak to Maureen. He's probably got something that needs fixing around here. This whole place is falling down.
You mean this establishment or this country, eh?
You don't change, do you? You got an answer for everything.
I don't have an answer for that.
And she goes, you be enjoying your drinks and give me a call when you need anything else, won't you?
Great, loves. Cheers.
I feel like we've just successfully started our first ever PC NPC romance.
When was the last time you were in this village then?
Oh, me always
Been here a few
probably
times, or?
yeah, probably three months ago, something like that. I just sort of, as I said the other day, I sort of just travel around a bit around this sort of these these towns and villages in this sort of part of the world, and I just see what's what. There's only so much work for a handyman like me, so once I've sort of dried it all up, I goes on to the next place and then does it there, and then eventually, by the time I've done all of them, the first one is run out of. Sorry, the first one's got more broken things for me to fix, and I go back and that's just sort of what I do.
Whereabouts are you
So,
actually from? I don't remember if
oh,
I asked you or not.
wow, I'm from Austria, ain't I? Do you mean where was I born?
Yeah, what about your parents? Are they still
Oh,
about?
I ain't got no parents. Never had no parents.
You never met them before?
I wasn't lucky enough to get parents. Me, no. No, it was just me on my own. I grew up in Bridcast. Well, it was just outside Bridcast, really.
How old are you, by the way?
Oh, well, I'm about I'm about. How old am I? I've forgotten. In human years. How old am I in human years?
I had that problem one time. Let me double check. Hang on.
Because I've got to work out what in human years how old I am.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Go for dog ears.
No, so not how old I am in human years. I know how old I am in human years. How old would I be in human years if I was? How old do I look? That's the question. I think I'm 22.
Mm.
22.
About 22, I think.
Yeah.
Your character avatar says quite a bit older than that.
Hmm.
But yeah.
One wants to lie about their age. Fine.
Well, I'm assuming you don't know that I'm an half elf yet. But you'll find that out eventually. And then once you do,
I
you figure out
already
how old I am.
do's knows.
Oh, in that case, I'm 50 odd.
I already do's knows.
Elwyn successfully perceived that, yeah.
I say it in a way that sort of like I have to figure it out. So it's kind of obvious that I am figuring out how old to say I am.
Yeah.
So if you know I'm a half elf, you know I'm about 50, but I look about 20.
Alan was trying to figure out if maybe your parents had died during the thing and you just were outside the radius. Hence why you're on your own.
No,
He's
quite
too
that
young
old.
for that.
Yeah.
half elves don't live that long, do they? I don't think half elves have nearly the life expectancy of a full elf.
No.
But yeah, anyway, about 22s I am. I think I don't.
Okay.
It's hard to remember to be honest because I didn't really grow up with any normality. It just sort of dragged up, didn't I? So I don't know how many winters I've seen. I've seen a few of them, but the trouble is they all sort of bleed into one, especially the ones when I was a kid.
Yeah, I don't know, I forget. I said earlier my village died 500 years ago, but it was more like 220.
Yeah, well, yours is now.
I completely forgot about time.
Yeah, I can imagine. It must be like a whirlwind for you.
You see a lot of people die is probably the sad thing.
Oh, well, that's it's not very nice to think about, actually, is it?
Mm.
But no, anyway, I've recasted where I sort of grew up, had a bit of knack for fixing things. So I sort of figured once I left the establishment, I just thought I'd just travel around the place, and that's where I am now. Not very exciting life, me. Talking of excitement, what is it that you are planning on doing after this this fifth? Because you said that you came here to go and see someone, but they ain't here. So where is you going next?
That is a very good question.
We're trying to find where they were. We're looking for them.
I think we've got to talk to his parents.
Yeah.
Do you know ways you might be able to find his parents?
We already spoke to him.
Oh, did you? What was this young chap's name? You said. Did I got? Not sure I caught it earlier.
Hang on. the same way as you're trying to work out how old you are. Trying to work out what his full name is. Oh yeah, Sam. In Legend Keeper,
Yeah.
I have 2 characters that I can see under the wherever it is. I can see Carl bit. I can see me, and I can see Z.
Yeah,
I can see Z as well.
Yeah, everyone,
All right,
I'm in the process of changing it so everyone can see a public version of all characters and only the private stuff for their own. But Z was the first character I did it with because he was dead, so it was easy to complete what he's achieved.
I thought it was his other thing, gold carbon.
Carl Carvin. Yeah. So we knew his surname was Dalin.
I
don't think we did.
certain, but I don't believe so. No, I
I
know for 100% certainly that Z had spoken about parents being dead. I actually, in fact, I'm pretty sure Jake's intention was that he had never mentioned his name.
All right. Yeah.
The web of lies.
If that's correct, Jake will put a thumbs up emoji in the chat, I'm sure.
About 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, his name was Ziviel.
Wait, that's the same name as the young chap who used to live down in that gem store. You weren't looking for him, were you? Because we were just there, not.
I'll just look over at John. Look over at John and just raise an eyebrow.
It's complicated.
Well, why didn't you say something to his mum and dad?
It's complicated.
Yeah, so what?
I don't know that you're looking for him.
I don't think many parents want to know.
Yeah. I mean, that I can tell you from my experience in the guard.
Yeah.
Turn up at someone's door saying you're looking for their son or their daughter. 70% of the time, they slam the door in your face.
Wait a second. Hang on a minute. You said that you came from the old Griffinsteel, the old capital here.
Yep.
And you'd never left it till we came up here to wherever we was before here that I've forgotten. And then you come here.
Yeah.
And he was down there just not several months ago. Well, surely you know he's not up here then if he's down there because you spoke to him.
Well, what do you do when someone's disappeared?
Oh, did he do the old disappearing act on you, did he? Usually when I find that happens to me, it means they're not really interested. Maybe he's just trying to be kind to you.
Yeah.
Yes, they call it ghosting these days.
You young people in your Twitter.
What's that?
Exactly.
It's noise what the birds make, I think.
So, if we start asking questions around town about him, word's going to get back to them really quickly.
The thing is, do we do the truth or do we do the not so truth?
Jake has confirmed that he never mentioned the name, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think so. What's the truth then? What happened? Well, I tell you what. We don't know each other very well, so maybe if you don't want to tell me, then you don't have to tell me. I've asked too much. Sometimes I overstep the old boundary I do, and yeah. So if you don't want to, that's all right.
Tell you some of it.
Sometimes the outside perspective can be a good thing. Something that outside the box.
Yeah. Well, the important thing is that Z was our friend, and that we fought together, and he saved our lives, I think. But in doing so, he disappeared.
do you mean the I do like a hand across the throat type movement? Disappeared in that way. If it's so, I'm awfully sorry to hear that.
I don't.
I mean,
No, more in the now you see it, now you don't way.
oh, was he a magical type fella?
Yeah, you could say that. He thought he was.
Oh, so you don't know if he's where he is then, really, do you? He really has disappeared on you.
Yeah. You're a guy that likes making random stuff, right? That does different effects.
I would say that's largely my entire personality, really, isn't it?
Say you make an item and it accidentally makes you disappear,
Yeah.
but disappear, leaving no trace behind. Would you go looking for the person that disappeared?
Wait, who's made the... I'm confused. Did I make the item that made me disappear? Did I disappear or did someone else disappear?
Say you disappeared while you were doing something.
Yeah.
Would you want your friends to come looking for you to try and help you if you got stuck somewhere?
Well, I hasn't got any friends, so I don't really know. Well, I suppose if I did disappear, I'm not sure I'd really come back to Marshall folk.
Last time you disappeared, you went back to town. While we were fighting.
What? Well, when I ran away? Well, that's the nearest place, wasn't it? But nearest place to Griffinsteel was Griffinsteel, not here. It was actually quite far away, I would say.
Distance is relative. It depends how fast you're running as well. Depends why you're running.
Oh, you can
No, it
pull.
doesn't. That just affects how much time it takes, not our distance. Doesn't matter how fast you're running, Griffinsteel is still closer to Griffinsteel than here. Unless, well, you go really, really fast, but thinking about it make your brain leak out of your ears.
Maybe for Z. The thought of being somewhere he knew was better than sticking in Griffinsteel.
Well, maybe we should look for him then, but maybe we should keep this bit quiet and not tell his old folks then, because wouldn't want to give them false hope or worse, false despair.
That's why we didn't say anything.
I see it's your problem now.
Yeah.
So you've been here before.
I have, yeah.
So I'm guessing you probably know like the town gossip. Who's the town gossiper? Every village has that one person that knows everything, and then after a few drinks they always talk.
Oh well, it's not necessarily one person, so to speak, but the old wives down the market. These are often I go and speak to them, especially old Marge. She often tells me what's going on, who might need a bit of my assistance and that sort of thing. And maybe old Marge down the market. Unless Sam has anyone actually in mind, in which case I'll say that person instead.
Marge is exactly who I would have suggested.
Yeah. Maybe. I think we should go and ask. But a bit of me feels we should go and talk to Drendon first. I'm thirsty.
We have anything that was of Z's left on us?
I've got a bit of paper.
Did he make my Did he make my cape, or did I get that from somewhere else? Or did he get that? Did he steal it from that? The morgue.
He obviously didn't steal it from the morgue. He wouldn't do anything like that.
That was out of character, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if I've got anything that he made.
don't think so. The
Oh,
no,
Jake has reminded me that Carl has Z's flask.
I do have his flask.
Oh, was it like a gem-studded flask? Like, made out of gems or something?
Don't remember that. I just remember what was in it.
You can look at it.
Yeah. Thinking about stuff we've got of Z. I'll dig the flask out of a pocket.
There's not a giant pearl stuck on
Yeah.
it that you've missed
There's
or
no-
anything like that previously.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can see there is some carvings into it, also like engravings, I guess, rather than carvings. Maybe not the exact match, but Elwyn, you can at least know they certainly they have like quite a similarity to the sort of patterns you saw on that signet ring. It's clearly of a very similar sort of style.
That's worse.
That's
What are we going to do?
Thing is, when we speak to him, do we go, oh yeah, by the way, Z said you're all dead. What was that about? Or do you think Z was just being weird?
Oh, by the way, your son told us you were dead, but he is.
Yeah.
He's not dead. Hush your mouth. Yeah, I don't think we mentioned that. I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't if I was you. That might make him a bit upset.
Wonder why you would say that.
Well, as someone who hasn't had any parents myself, and I do wish I did have some, I know knows plenty of people who wouldn't be in my position because it doesn't give you any what's the word? Baggage. You see, you say you'd be whoever you are if you ain't got no parents.
A fresh start.
Yeah, especially if you're in a big city.
What do we tell him? Maybe we don't.
But regardless of what you do, it's not really my place to say. But if you want me to go and introduce your Marge, I can.
Go seduce Marge.
Not seduce, introduce.
Oh,
Oh. You wouldn't want to go there, trust me.
I just want to know you got your work.
She might be the right age for you, old elf, but not nah. She's a bit
Yeah.
old for me.
Bit young for me, I would say.
Might be, you haven't seen Marge, yet, have you?
You're great. Yeah. I think. So are we going to stick around here for a little bit? Couple of nights.
Yeah.
So I think maybe we just get the feel of martial folk today, and then decide what to say to Drendon.
We could just go, look, you probably know your son Z. He found a book. Got a bit too into the book.
Mm.
Bish bash bosh.
He's dead. Can we have a discount on some gems?
He's not dead, is he? 'Cause you saw him, right?
I was unconscious. I think the last thing I saw was him casting something. Something happened, and then he wasn't there. Yeah, he's not dead.
He's just possessed by an evil god.
Yeah, Artria, what do you think? Do you know much about the Z folk?
Funny you should ask.
I mean, I'm still half convinced that Archer is actually still Z with a hat on.
That is a fair point. Yeah, that's what we should do. We should take while we're here, we should take Artur now to a steam house so we can all take off our armor and
Hot springs.
yeah, and have a
You need a can opener, I think, don't you?
Yeah. In fact, if Critical Role taught me nothing, has taught me anything, it's that every party has to have every adventuring group has to have a bath scene at some point. Right. I'll get another round of drinks and some food for the table. And while there, I'll ask the barmaid her name.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, as you sort of go up to get some more, she introduces herself. She tells you her name is Moana Stouttail.
I don't know what to do with that name. That's
She a half elf. A half no, the halfling.
She's the dwarf.
Dwarf.
Yeah. So I'll chat to her. You said something about work. Asked if we were looking for work.
Well, just wondering what brings your types here. I see the weaponry, and I assume you'd be looking for some kind of work. Not really a lot of fighting pits around here.
We could be looking for work. We kind of found ourselves moving on from where we were, and now we're here.
It's funny you say that, actually. She leans in slightly, just over the bar. She lowers her voice a little bit. What kind of reason do you find for having to move on? Only because, if you ask me, you got a striking similarity, you and your friend, to those ones in the record.
Really?
Well,
An old man and an elf.
you could call me over suspicious, but don't see many muscular types travelling around with an old elf, especially them that look like this. And she shows you. She just sort of nudges across the bar a copy of the record. By the way, you rolled for this, Phil, so it's not my fault. There is on the front page of the dated yesterday, Friday's edition of the record. There is a relatively pretty accurate drawing portrait of Carl and Elwyn.
Alan wasn't named in the thing though.
No, they
They
haven't
was
named it.
not.
I think if you look under the picture, it just says the elf.
I
But,
get a picture in there at least.
Hey.
I get a picture in there at least.
Elna, yeah, sorry, I should have meant. Yeah, Elna is on this picture. This portrait is of Eleanor, Carl, and Elwyn.
Thank God, she'd have been really fucking pissed off if she wasn't in there.
Well, that's funny.
People around here, they're we wouldn't call ourselves detached from the Empire, but we have our own ways around here.
Well, these guys, I can't imagine that these guys would be looking for any kind of trouble if they travelled all the way up to Sleepy Town like this. I imagine they'd be looking to keep their head down, keep quiet.
Well, that'd probably be best for them, but well, I hate my boss some days as much as anybody. I can see where you're coming from. If you were in that position, just watch yourselves. I would hate for anyone else to get suspicious.
Can I keep this? Tucking the paper onto the tray of drinks.
She winks at you. She says, that'd probably be for the best.
And I'll take it back to the table. And drop it in front of Elwyn, the newspaper.
I read the whole article, Sam. Have you got it written down?
Oh, fuck off, Shane. No, it's clear. Basically, it's clearly essentially a ransom. No, not a ransom as in any kind of mention of reward, but it's pretty clear that these are the 3 people responsible for the murder of Arinda Featherstone. And
The likeness is the drawing to Elwyn.
It's recognisable, absolutely. These aren't accurate enough that you can be 100% certain if you put them up against yourselves, but they are certainly recognisable, the 3 portraits.
So, is it hair colour in that lot?
These are like, yeah, I mean, they're, yeah.
If Z taught us one thing, it was to dye hair.
I haven't got enough hair to dye.
Yeah, what's that in the news then? That you're always looking at? What's happened in the big city? Anything we should be worried about over here?
I'll push it over towards you to you and Owen to read. Otto to read. Oh, and Nix.
Oh, Wells.
And
woman here seems like a fine woman. I'd love the chance to have met her.
yeah, she was a right pain in the ass.
Getting a good way, I imagine.
Yeah, right. Don't like being famous.
Well, don't do things that what famous people do then.
You can buy a wig.
I might buy a cloak.
Sorry, remind me, are the names on the paper? Carlton, isn't it?
Yeah, mine is. I think. I think it's.
In the initial report, there was only Carl and Eleanor were named, but in this one, Elwyn is also named.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Yeah, I would recommend though probably changing your name at least for a little while until the heat dies down. Probably best not to be going around calling yourself Carl, stood next to a picture of yourself called Carl in the old record where you just murdered someone.
You're right.
I trust before we carry on, spending some time together, I trust it was for a good cause.
It's a vampire.
A what?
A vampire.
Oh, you mean she was sucking the old money out of the old company, dear?
No, she's sucking blood out of kids.
No. Pull the other one, mate. I wasn't born yesterday.
Yep. The whole thing. Allergic to silver. Couldn't go out and date.
I do allergic to silver, actually.
Hmm?
I have heard that. They're allergic to
Yeah,
silver.
they are.
This is why we've got these special made arrows, and I pull out my silver arrows.
Is that werewolves? I can't remember which, actually. I've heard one of them is, anyway.
Werewolves is garlic, I think.
Oh, alright. Yeah, probably. I'm not one of them supernatural fighters, me. Just if you fix things, really. But anyway, it seems like you did a good job then, even if the rest of the country don't think you did. But probably best be changing your name.
Certainly a necessary job. So
what shall I be calling you then?
Yes. Just call me James.
James. Alright, James. about you, Elf?
You can call me Leokin.
James and Lukin, alright, I can do that, I think.
Jesus Christ, I thought the first one was painful. That's even worse.
Oh dear. Right. I want to go somewhere and buy a cloak, but that shouldn't take more than a few seconds. Don't need to go shopping for that.
Did I ever watch Z dye his hair?
Yes.
Okay. I will try that technique out.
um,
I'll try and find the herbs he does, and you can let it know whatever colour I end up doing it as.
Tremendous. Yeah, it's
Because
good.
I want to say Alwyn's going to do it how he does it, but he doesn't know how to do it properly, so it could go. He'll try and do it a dark colour as he can.
Sure, Elwyn, roll a d12 for me.
Z taught me this.
You have a striking sort of blue-violet hair now.
Pretty much what.
Yeah.
What's he at?
Pretty much was it. When we see it, I think my first comment will be, "Is that your natural colour?"
I don't know. I'll just try copy what Z used to do. I was just hoping for some dark colour for my hair.
It's a great choice if you're going back to 12 Drendel that his son's dead. Might as well just cosplay entirely at this point.
We're going to dress up as. We can just reenact the whole thing. Can I get a Garbanoid costume? Oh dear. Right, I'm going to go and buy a cloak, and then I guess, going to go and talk to old Beth. If that was her name.
Margie?
Was that her name, Sean? Margie, that's what you said. Although maybe Nix and Jean want to do that while Elwyn's doing his hair, and I'm getting a cloak. I'll get us a couple of rooms for the night.
Yeah.
Oh, there's 5 of us, isn't there?
Top and tails, all good.
Yeah, I don't mind bunking up me. You from back in the
I'll buy my own one. I've got to have a room for me in. No Pep.
Oh yeah, there's 6. Obviously, there's 6 of us. Yeah, okay, we'll get 3 rooms. I'll pay for them tonight.
Hey, big spender.
Yeah.
Say I was doing my hair dye in the room.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. So I need to buy 3 rooms.
Pepper wasn't in the photo as well, was she?
No.
Cool. It'd be a bit awkward trying to dye the wolf's hair.
That's fair. I was thinking, people are going to go, oh, that looks like the guy. Oh no, he's got a wolf with him. It's not him.
Yeah. That would make more sense now, but everyone's going to think I had to dye his hair instead.
No. Right, yeah, so I'm going to get a cloak, which I'll just buy. And, yeah, do you two want to... Will you two, and then Artur can stay here and, I don't know, pray? Want to go and see what's going down?
I'm going to try and stay a room with Artur just to see him take the armour off.
I might stare at him for a while. I've got a... Well, I was just going to go off to Matthias and Son and buy a cloak. Except that's an armour as well. Oh no, he sells all sorts.
It is like a blacksmith, but yeah, I mean, you can get a cloak. A cloak that can cost you like nothing. Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
I thought we already bought them the cloak.
Yeah, I thought we had a cloak as well.
Oh, I think I got a cloak last week. No, yeah, so I'll start wearing it with a hood and with the hood up.
Yeah, what are you guys looking to do, I guess?
I'm guessing the fact that Z was sending letters, he may have mentioned us in letters anyway. To his parents.
He might have done. Seems.
I think it might be honesty's the best policy here. And just go, he had this book. I think he's been taken over by some magical bullshit. And we're trying to save him. Just ignore the fact it's a magical god.
Yeah.
Or evil god.
Right. I think actually, yeah, Carl's not going to say what he thinks until this evening. I think we should go around to the town. Well, I think you guys should go and talk to Margie, see what's going on, and also see if you can find me a tattooist.
Facial tattoos to obscure
Oh.
your appearance.
No, I think that's probably a step too far. But the I've been marking. Carl's been slowly marking his arms with henna, where the when he rages and the wild magic surge, you kind of see there's like slight patterns that appear, and where he can remember him, be marking them and start getting them tattooed.
Nice.
And stuff. So yeah, I've got nothing else to do today. I've got something to say this evening. But...
Cool. Okay. Yeah, anything else anybody else wants to do during the day, I guess?
I only use some odd bits and pieces for a bit of coin. If anyone who needs it. Not that I also kind of tired, to be honest. So.
Nick, anything you want to do?
We'll come to the blacksmith.
Mateus and Son.
Oh. Okay, I didn't see that. Okay, they don't have what I was looking for. No. Yeah, no.
I mean, you can speak to the blacksmith when you visit there. He's stands out again. One of the few non-halflings you see around town. This is a human, quite young looking as well, like mid-20s, late 20s at the very sort of top end. Yeah, probably stands out in terms of not quite fitting in. Yeah, I mean, if there's something particular you're looking for, or...
I was looking for thieves' tools.
That's a very overt question to ask. Is that something you want to actually ask him for? Or...
No, I mean, like, what? There's no. I'm trying to think of a place that would sell. What?
Thieves' tools aren't really the type of thing you would just buy at a store.
Okay,
Are you with me at the time of mentioning this?
No, probably not. I don't know. Maybe.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, like you wouldn't really find like a store like selling like, hey, look, here's a set of thieves' tools, unless it was, Thieves Are Us.
That's where I got mine from.
Sadly out of business these days, yeah.
Yeah, not much trade for it.
No,
Yeah. I'll go buy a room and sleep.
Yeah, I paid for 3 rooms.
yeah.
So
Carl's been generous.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
not used to having money, so I'm going to try
Which
and
one
get
of
it.
you am I sleeping with?
I think it might
Don't
be both
offer
of them.
once.
I think it might be both of them because Elwyn's got a room and Carl's got a room.
I see what's going on there, but we are not
I'll
firm
sleep on the
friends
floor.
yet. Don't worry, I'll sort myself out for a room.
No. You guys can. The three of you can.
I'll do
sleep on the
fancy
floor.
three.
I
In the
thought
bed.
Carl wanted to send a room with our turd to see his take his armour off.
I'm not a particularly strong fella, and there's no to say three in a bed and the little one said. Oh no, I'm the little one in that case. Don't worry about that. That makes no sense. Anyway, I'll go get some room. Don't worry about that. How much do you need to pay for a room?
Would Nick's be the little one in the middle?
No, I wouldn't be the little one.
I don't think Artur sleeps.
It's
He
5
doesn't take-
silver for a room.
He doesn't take his armor off. I assume he just like locks the knee pieces and stands in the corner.
We should just go to board game room and play a game of Skull. That's how we used to decide who had to share a bed at UK Expo each year. I got
That is
Nathan
true.
2 years in a row, and I really wish I was better at Skull.
Yeah, I would not be super keen on sharing a bed with you.
There was 4 beds and 5 people each year, so whoever lost ended up having a share.
Did you always book did you book 2 double rooms or something?
Yeah, because it was we used to stay at this ridiculously cheap hotel. Yeah, it was just maybe a step above a hostel. No, that's harsh, but
Was that the Ibis?
Yeah, it was fine actually. It was.
That was
There's
nice.
nothing wrong with it. Yeah.
Well, the Ibis is a proper the brand is a proper
Yeah, this is the express version. Literally, they had 2 Ibises. One, the posh one, posh sort of next door, the normal one, and then this was the Ibis Express or something, and it was the cheaper version of the Ibis, but it was perfectly fine.
Yeah, no, there was nothing wrong with it. Yeah, it was fine.
It always seemed to me the rooms were very plastic. You could easily wipe them down.
That is very true. That's also where I found out that Louis wasn't joking when he said he sleeps with a nightlight. It was the first time I shared a room with it. It did my head in because you couldn't tell. He had to keep a light on all night. It was so fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Man, we should definitely get Louis into D&D, but that's another subject.
Right. Yeah. So this evening, that evening in the thing, Carl, I think, has decided. If I've managed to find a tattooist, he's got maybe a few tattoos on his arm. And the pain helped him think or something. I think if Z was my son, I'd want someone to be honest with me. So I think we've got to go and do that. What do you think?
Yeah, it's not like we're going and tell him he's dead.
No. He's
possessed.
Wow. He's not even that. He's just. I think he's somewhere, probably out of his depth, and we could do with helping him. But so I think.
Oh, to not upset Jake while he's sick, Jake keeps pointing out that Z is definitely pronouns they them.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Jake.
Okay, we'll let his dad correct us.
Yeah, well, no. I thought it was intentional. I thought that maybe that was part of the deeper backstory as to why he had left. They had left was due to the disagreement over pronouns, but maybe it wasn't.
No, I didn't intend it. It's that default thing where you default into whatever the player is. Yeah, that's my fault.
So I think we should go and do that. I think we should do that fairly quickly, maybe now. And I think maybe should be me and Owen.
Just us two and leave the others in the inn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, I'll go and I've got a bit of a business to attend to around here anyway, so I'll do that whilst you're but be gentle with them, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Indeed. We'll not be that long. And yeah, maybe find us something to do. The
What do you mean?
well, Marna's right. We're gonna just moping around here. We're gonna stand out. We should perhaps find ourselves some work. People with a job don't look as obvious.
Alrighty.
Yes, you. So go on.
Yeah. Well, just before that, it's just the thoughts just occurred to me. Yeah, there is something else, I suppose. Yeah, that newspaper article. And this is really John, Artur, and Unix. Hanging around with us might not be that safe. If you
Not being safe.
Well, I've got some acts of getting away with being in a bit of trouble, so I wouldn't worry about me too much, to be honest. Got one of them faces that they told me.
fair enough. Well, just know you don't owe us anything if you feel the need to go.
Oh, I know. If
Okay.
anything, you owes me something, to be honest, but we'll call it quits after the old ship up here.
Yeah. Quits. And then as I walk off with Elwyn, I'm going to go, we owe him stuff. What do we owe him for?
I don't know.
He's mad, isn't he?
He does really good sleeping. I help you sleep.
What, does he rub your neck? Or...
Oh no, he just goes on and makes me want to fall asleep.
Fair enough. I've not seen that suit of armour of his anywhere.
Some magic.
Magic bullshit. Okay. Do we want to actually roleplay this, or?
It's up to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Got him.
Yeah, you head back over to the Rolling Stone. It's not open. I guess it's sort of 8 p.m. at this point. Yeah, you can always knock it. I assume that's better than barging in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did Z ever have a special way of knocking?
Not that I recall. No. Yeah. Takes a moment, and Drendel comes back through, and you can see he sort of looks through a window to the side that opens the door. He says, you changed your mind. Something else you were looking for, I assume. It's a little late, but sure, come on in.
Yeah. Something we need to talk to you about.
And as creepily as possible as he says that, I'll shut the door, and if it's got I assume it's maybe got a closed sign already says closed. But
Yeah.
I'll push the lock across.
Mm-hmm.
I probably should introduce ourselves. I don't think we said our names. I'm Elwyn, and this is Carl Garbin.
Yeah.
Well met.
Pleased to make your acquaintance. We're friends of Zeviel, I think.
You said you'd seen a drow. You believe it was him?
Yeah.
We're pretty 100% sure with our CVL's the same person.
Rosie, these are friends of Zeviel. And you hear this movement again. She comes in the room. She goes, you were in here early. You never even said. Why be shy?
It's a long story. We met up with him 2 months ago. Is it about 2 months?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
It's like longer. Feels like longer.
It does feel like it feels more like about a year and a bit.
Yeah.
Did he? Did he ever mention
It's
Working for the
1 month and a day, precisely.
one month and a day. Well, did he ever mention working for the record?
Um, he told us that he had found work, but never really specifics. The record isn't the paper.
Yeah.
I always thought he was more of a reader than a writer, but okay.
A researcher, I would say, would probably.
Yeah, I never read anything for it. I don't think you did. I think only one person I've read anything.
Yeah. The famous writer Eleanor, whatever her surname was. What was Eleanor's surname?
Oh, I don't know.
Hey, what was that?
Eleanor from Dwarf.
Vincenzo's surname.
Yeah,
One-eyed Eleanor.
Yeah, one-eyed. Yeah, that would have been a good byline. Yeah, you might have read some of her fluff pieces from the paper.
I did write fluff pieces, very much.
It's a matter of opinion. Yeah. No. So we met him. We're working for the record, and
We went on some crazy adventures.
yeah.
One time we had to walk out backwards out of a forest that would never end.
Yeah, that was.
You can see Rosie almost. She sort of breaks into a smile at the sort of oddity of this statement.
We even found in that forest drow in a lost drow city.
Oh, we didn't find a lost drow city.
Well, we were near it.
We found reports of a lost drow city.
We saw 3 drow from there.
We saw drow. Yeah.
In my mind, this is entirely the conversation that's going on.
Yeah, no, I think this is pretty close. I don't think either of us is really prepared for this.
But I'm sure even Z didn't want to speak to him because he said they were bad-looking drow.
That is true.
Not like him.
He because of my family, he never met his grandparents. We were probably the only ones of our kind he probably did know.
Yeah. He was quite shy, I think. He didn't really tell us a lot about his past.
Just that he made Jorium martial folk.
Dwendal, he disagrees entirely. He's like, shy is never a term I would use for Zerviel.
No, that's fair. I think perhaps he was. How do I put this? When Z left here, had he ever shown any interest in magic?
Absolutely not.
Really?
He was always curious. Zerviel was always curious, but even in a place like Martial Folk, we are very aware that we stand out, and all 3 of us would be most careful not to make whatever welcome is extended our way be retracted. Zerviel was curious.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was definitely curious, and I think his curiosity had perhaps got the better of him.
And Rosala, you can see her sort of just general demeanour change a little bit. She's, what do you mean by that? Where? If you're friends with my son, where is he?
That is a good question.
It's too long a story for tonight, but we we met
Kind of
with
obsession of
Z.
the book.
We started working with him for the record, investigating stories, trying to make Griffin Steel a better place, I think. And we stumbled across across something going on that we couldn't just leave. Some evil taking over the city, I guess. And we found ourselves opposing it. And there came a point where I think Z was faced with doing something reckless or watching us die. And I think he did something reckless.
You see Rosie sort of looks over at Dwendal and then back to you.
And I think since then he's decided to travel on his own. But I can't talk for the others. I can't talk for the old man here. But I think we owe Z. I think we owe him our lives.
Well, we're the only two OEF of our group to survive that trip. There was 5 of us.
Yeah.
6 of us. There was 6 of us.
6? You including Pepper in that?
7 of us. Lyrican as well.
Lyrican.
We lost Lyrican.
Eleanor.
We lost Eleanor. We lost Warforged.
Oh.
And we lost Z. Pepper's still alive. So.
I've forgotten about Warforged. Yeah. Well, Pepper 2's still alive.
Yeah, first one. Yeah, Pepper did die in there, though, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
So did you.
Again, I think this is all.
It's. I didn't so much die as sleep for a bit or something. But no. So yeah, I think to try and save us, to save Griffin Steel, I think Z's done something reckless, and I think we need to find him and help him.
You can see Dwendal and Rosalia sort of look at each other a bit confused, shocked, unsure. Dwendal sort of stands up, and you can see he makes quite almost a show, not intimidating, but he puts his shoulders back a little. He sort of stands up straight and he sort of looks at you and he says, I think you should leave now. I don't understand the meaning of this. Why you come here to tell us what?
He's alive but missing.
And I kind of hoped that he might have come back here. But if you're serious that you've not heard from him, then I guess he hasn't.
The first we have heard of any harm befalling Xavier was when his 2 friends make their way into our home, do not reveal themselves, and then return now to tell us this news.
The rest of our group we were with earlier never met Xavier.
I've always been a strong believer in not jumping to moral judgments, but if any friend of mine was truly lost, I don't think I'd be holding that news back from those that were missing them.
Not news you can break easily. It takes courage, almost more courage than I've got.
I'm most sorry to hear that Z was travelling with those lacking in the courage to tell us at the first opportunity.
I thought we're more socially awkward than our two group. We're not the aggressive talkers.
You should have brought the assassin, really.
Yeah. I think John might have done a better job of it. So do you know, can you think of anything that you could tell us that might help us understand where Z might have gone?
I could ask the same of you. Could I not?
But
He's
This
got
was
him.
our first thought.
He's got himself into some kind of trouble. He's chosen to travel on his own. What trouble? What situation? You come here with half pieces of information.
that's all we've got. He's been dabbling. Dabbling is not strong enough a word. He's been dealing with, experimenting with magic.
I will hear no more of this. And he bangs his hand down one of the desks at this point. I will hear no more of this. You come into our home and upset us like this.
Our intention wasn't to upset you. Our intention is to learn more of Z and find a way to help them. But if you don't want to, if you don't want to help them, then I'm sorry. And I think we've perhaps had our time.
Rosie speaks up for the first time since you started speaking at this point. And she says, perhaps Dwendal is one to reserve quick moral judgments, but you'll forgive me when two characters we have never met nor heard of arrive here, claiming to be friends of our son, who they say is missing and they're looking for, and they want information from us. I need no forgiveness. You'll excuse me for perhaps being suspicious.
I can understand. Perhaps more than you know, but when your children leave, they're their own people. You don't always know what they're doing.
Let's get you to make a persuasion check for me. Oh.
Heartfelt.
Yeah, it was good. Rosalia at this point, she you see she reached out and she sort of puts her hand over to Dwendal. She says, I worry every day. And every day that I don't hear from him, I worry, because he is curious and forgive me, but naive even. And the capital is, I would imagine, not the most welcoming of places, and I fear every day that I don't hear. If you truly believe there is any kind of harm that could befall Xavier, then any help we could give, we would give willingly. But what do you want from us?
Just, I guess, tell us about him before he left for Griffinsteel. We don't know any more than he left with some gems. Where would he have? Is there anywhere that you've talked about that he might have gone? You say you came from Dwarf. Does he know anyone there?
See if we came from Dwarf, and Z's lineage would come from Dwarf, but he was born in this place. There were many places before we called Marshall Folk home. It was not easy to find a place that would allow itself or allow us to make their place our home. Our kind but not well regarded. But if I had any idea where Xavier was, I would tell you, but it seems you have seen Xavier far more recently than I have heard. I would plead with Shanti for anything I could tell you, but I don't know what I can tell you.
Shanti. So there's no way that you can think of that he'd have heard of. No stories you told him when he was little.
And you can see they both they're looking at each other. We would tell these stories in history all the time. All Xavier ever wanted was to learn and to understand and to question more than anything. Always with questions. But if you believe Xavier has chosen to travel alone, then Dwendal, is there anything you can think of, any place where Xavier would go other than here? This is his home. You can see Dwendal sort of thinks to himself, and he's clearly trying to find any kind of solution he can give you here. And he goes, he just... I don't truly know where to begin. Maybe I'm foolish to believe it, but this isn't even a wish. This is, I know this at my core. If there was ever any doubt within Xavier that they were in any kind of trouble, they would look to deal with that.
Yeah, I agree.
And if nothing else, if they've chosen to do that alone, I only believe they would do that if they truly believed it was a threat to those they cared about.
I agree with that as well, but when it comes to magic, I don't think people understand what they're doing. Too confident.
You truly believe this is a problem of the arcane nature?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Z has books, belongings, possessions. We can look for anything. We will look for anything that may mean something or help.
There is one name that he's said that I think is involved. Does the name Corin anything to you?
Corin, I don't know. Rosie, Corin. And you see, she shakes her head. Never heard them mention anyone by that name. But we will look through their belongings. Return to us in the morning, and anything we can find, we will share with you.
Okay. Thank you.
Is
And I think we'll quietly leave.
Okay.
Ouch.
I think that went quite well.
Yeah. I need a drink. And for the next couple of hours, Carly's going to.
Corin's our only lead, then I'm guessing we could go where I met the last cults that followed him.
That's the next. I think that is the next thing.
I've got a feeling it could be quite far to travel, though.
To the Blacklands.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a journey. Guys,
That's not where the Whippet had been to, is
yeah,
it?
at least we got the book that documents the journey.
the Whippet had been there, yes.
We supposed to be looking for the Whippet?
Yeah. We suddenly forgot about it.
There was a sort of a reward, a job opportunity. The Baron was sort of putting out for its recovery, but you guys didn't really ingratiate yourself particularly with that NPC.
I did. I wanted to steal the loot.
I think you also walked out when he was talking to you, from what I recall.
He was rude to me.
That does sound like us.
You're all reconvening at the tavern again.
Yeah, we're just gonna have loads of drinks. Carl's playing. I mean, James is playing.
Yep. James will pay. He's generous. Yeah, but basically, Carl is going to be quite sullen and drink quite a lot.
Just because Arthur is although Arthur's very quiet, they obviously they are still existing, they are doing stuff. If Arthur was curious at any point about when it was that the Whippet had visited the Blacklands, it was approximately it's about 8 months ago. Just if Arthur wanted to know that information.
Yeah, that's fair. 8 months ago. Okay, that doesn't. Well, I don't know. Get that book from. That seems like too common. That seems like too convenient a link.
Is everybody back at the tavern? I take it.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. You guys sharing your experiences with the.
Yeah, but I think Alan will say that it went a lot better than it did.
Yeah.
Alan
Okay.
thinks it went well.
Of course. Yeah, so if anybody wants to discuss.
Anthony knew.
There is a question about how much we tell Artur, but I have a feeling we've perhaps messed up because he is looking for Z.
Yes.
Are you looking for Z?
Yeah, he was looking for Z before he met us.
Oh. Oh, very lucky you met then.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I don't really think we can efficiently keep anything from him. Although we won't mention Corin if I can avoid it.
Yeah, that's
Have
cool.
we already mentioned it to him?
I think he might have mentioned it because he's looking for the book specifically. I think maybe we need to sit down with him and.
If you do want to do that, I'm just going to suggest now's not the right time.
Yeah, no, indeed, I'd agree with that. But yeah, so yeah, I was just thinking, I don't think we've really been able to hide any of, what we've learnt today from him.
Yeah.
So what now, guys?
Yes, we seal the have, or we just try and get a boat to the Blacklands.
I mean, in my head, can't get that thing that Artur just mentioned about the 8 months out of my head.
8 months?
Well, if the Whippet visited the Blacklands, where followers of Corin last were, let's assume they're still there.
Yeah.
And somehow got hold of a book of Corin's.
Yeah.
And then came back. There would be enough time for that book to get into or to be in a merchant's hands. And then for only sometime in the last 6 months since Z left Marshall Folk, for him to come across that merchant.
Oh, saying have a look to see if the numbers match and the
Yeah, well, it just feels like it could, that maybe that's where the book came from. Even if I don't really know what that tells us, but it perhaps says going to the Blacklands is not a bad idea.
In the ledger, does it say who's on the boat?
Doesn't. Locations and dates, that's all that there is. There's no mention of people, cargo. No.
Does it say on the ledger that the boat was in this dock at a certain time?
In where, sorry?
In Marshall Folk. Did it dock in Marshall Folk right before Z left? If we could try and match the numbers up.
you guys have a look through now that you're here. There are no entries for the Whippet at Marshall Folk.
Okay.
Mhm. Stop. Yeah, I don't think there's anything more for
Yeah,
to do tonight.
that's cool.
Does you want me to introduce you to Marge tomorrow? Or did you decide that's not a good idea now?
Don't know how much help that would be unless she knows the merchant that sold the book. Which I'm thinking now's a bit of a needle in a haystack.
Or
In a serendipitous turn of events, you spot old Marge in the tavern this evening.
actually, yeah, as it happens, just spotted her over there, so you might as well go ask her now that she's here.
Yeah, you might as well. You're a little handyman.
I get up and
Yeah. As you sort of approach, you notice she stood with a a small group of other female halflings, all of the elder sort of age range. As you're walking over, old Marge stops her. She turns around. She goes, "Well, John, I ain't seen you round here in some time."
oh no, you know me, Marge. I just come in and out when I likes. But actually, I was coming over to talk to you about something. If you've got 5 minutes.
I got 5. I've always got 5 minutes, but we were that's right. You go.
I just some of my what should we call them, associates over here. They was looking.
Oh,
They was looking to
associates.
see if you might have some information that they might want. If you get what I'm saying.
Associates, John. You're going up in the world.
Oh no! I just shared a boat with them.
Oh,
Anyway,
traveling
come
the
over.
seas. Sorry.
I'm always on the seas, me. Well, when I can afford it.
Oh well, what information are they looking for?
Or that's ask them, I think.
Come on then.
They got a friend, and I don't really know.
She sort of walks over with you back to where your group's all sat down, and she sort of comes over and she says, "You must be John's associates then." Be a quiet bunch, John.
Yeah, a bit funny that actually. Normally they don't shut up. This one here is called James. This one here is called Leokin, and then there's Nick's here, and then the silent one doesn't speak very much. Is Archer.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, does one of you want to say what you're looking for around here? Because I can't keep track of it. All these different people, all different names.
Has there been any merchants coming through here in the last 8 months?
Any
Stuff.
merchants in the last 8 months?
Yeah, and hold your horses.
Ooh.
With stuff from the Blacklands.
Oh, stuff from the Blacklands.
We heard tales of someone selling stuff on the road from the Blacklands.
Jerry's sister's Pruna, her neighbour Caspin. He's been to the Blacklands. He
Okay.
told me he's been to the Blacklands, and when he came back, he had riches with him.
What
He's
kind
not-
of riches?
Well, he didn't tell me that. He just told me he had riches. Well, I
And
say
did
he
he?
told me. He didn't tell me, actually. He told Bruna, and she told Jayri, and then Jayri told me.
So when was this?
Oh, I don't know. He was... Here. Fam, though, when did Caspian die? That must have been 12 years ago? Yeah. Yeah. Must have been 12, 13 years ago he went there, I reckons.
Anything more recent?
Oh, more recent than... No, I can't say there is really, no. We get merchants coming through all the time, and not many of them have Blacklands painted on their wagons.
No, I guess not. Well,
What do you be wanting anyway? What are you trying to buy stuff from the Blacklands for? We get everything you could want round here. Oh,
We're trying to buy
Mervyn,
stuff.
he can build anything. And Garble, he'll do anything you want.
we're trying to find someone who's selling stuff from the Blacklands. That's all.
Competition, are they?
No, but maybe they're selling stuff they shouldn't be.
Oh, I see. Snake oil types?
Could be.
No.
Kind of promise you stuff.
Then don't deliver. That sounds like most of the men I met.
Hmm. Well, that's not what I've heard about Jean.
she just smiles.
Hmm. So yeah, if you do hear of anyone selling stuff from the Blacklands, you let Jean know.
Yeah, of course he will. I'll tell all the girls to listen out.
Excellent.
And she makes her way back over to the group she was with, yeah. Anything else? Or...
Don't think so. Just gonna say a little old for you, Jean.
And the rest. Christ, she was too old for me when I was born.
I mean, that's very true. Yeah, it's Let's see out the evening, I guess. You know, it's certainly not the busiest drinking establishment you've ever been in, but it's relatively sort of busy. It quietens down as the night goes on.
Was there any like dock workers in the bar?
No, I mean, there's literally here. There's like this. There's the one jetty. It's like it probably wouldn't even have like dock workers. There's not really a lot to load, unload, manage. It's really just not residential. But, you know, it's not really heavy business. It's probably not dock workers as such. No. Yeah, people sort of come, go, slowly sort of starts to filter down. You get to sort of relatively late point in the evening where there's probably only yourselves and probably less than 20 left in here at all. It's getting pretty quiet. You become aware, actually, all of you. So you feel like perception checks or anything. You become aware of another sort of halfling, sort of short figure. You can see they've got this sort of they wear like a quite similar to yourself, Carl, like a leather cloak. There's like a hood over their head. There's you spot as they're sort of clearly sort of approaching your table. There's no sort of no subtlety about it. So they sort of head over. All you can see underneath the cloak is this really like quite extremely long beard, sort of actually drags very slightly across the floor as they sort of near you. You just see the sort of length of the beard reaches down and sort of just drags on the floor very slightly. It's just this sort of tattered leather hood sort of up over the head, and you hear this really sort of worn, slightly slurring sort of voice speak out and just says, Carl, Owen, for safety of every person in this tavern, hold your anger. And they step up, and the hood just tilts back ever so slightly, so you can sort of get a clearer picture, a sort of vision of this person. There's what appears to be a halfling that has undergone some unknown process, and you can just see there's like this heavy scarring and puckering all across the skin. There are two what appear to be tentacles hanging from the upper lips. There's like broken skin all across the face, and there's a cavity where the left eye should be. Just sort of almost looks decay. This sort of like there's no eyeball there. There's just this open socket, and there's this really long beard, which the tentacles, these two sort of tentacle type appendages hanging from the upper lip, sort of they almost sort of they're hidden inside of the beard. You can see as you spot, and it sort of registers at this point. This monstrosity of a person you see in front of you is the halfling Murdry Tinkerrock.
I thought it was going to be Z so badly.
Too short.
Now somewhere between a halfling and a garbanoid, it would appear. And he looks at you, at the two of you in particular. He says, told I'd find you here. And you can see as he talks, these two like tentacles, like they're sort of like weighing down, almost pulling all his skin and all the muscles in his face to one side, like the weight of them. He sort of speaks with a bit of a slur. And all I ever wanted for my life was knowledge and the ability to understand this world I was a part of. And now I have the curse of seeing beyond that, seeing other worlds and hearing the voices of this world and the voices of the Illithid, and the connection is broken, but still I can hear them. I fear they can hear me. I'd be one of them now if he had not spared me. And I'll never be quite the man I was before, but my autonomy, I owe it to him. And it's on his behalf that I am here. He thought it likely you would look for him. He told me you, Carl, would understand the importance of home and of family and returning to what you had lost. He knew you well enough to know you'd be here. The Uniter sends his apologies, but he has urgent business to attend to. He travels now to find the first of the rings, and he intends to unite the 5 tribes of Shate and restore them to the power they once had. He sends his apologies for not being here, but he also sends his demands. You're to leave with me tonight, and you say nothing to nobody here. We will make travel for Shate, and the two of you will be rewarded and serve as dukes to the new king in the world he intends to build. And the one eye that remains just looks at you, Carl and Elwyn. The Uniter, Xavier, demands your presence, and I would not keep him waiting. We should go. And I think that's where we'll leave stuff.
Just as the scene closes or whatever, Carl has crushed the tankard that he was holding in his hand, and it's just sort of mangled, and the contents are all over the table, and just where the new tattoos are, little specks of little rainbow lights are just appearing there as he decides whether to contain his anger or let it go.
Did we see this as well or not?
Oh yeah. You're all present for this. Yeah, everyone's present. Partially why I want to pause there, because then Arthur can be involved in whatever conversation happens next.
Case, I look mostly horrified, and as the scene closes, I go, "Here, sir, are you feeling all right?" And that's where it will end it for me.
Perfect.
Oh.
No Z, I'm afraid.
No, I thought it's not going to be Z, but I thought it was going to be like Z somehow like astral projecting through, like by, it was going to be like some sort of like what's her name, Leia in Star Wars type projection, but like didn't have any heights. It just sort of like floated around on a cape.
Yeah. That's quite funny.
If it's of any help, I will definitely transcribe that information dump.
I didn't do a particularly.
That's absolutely fine. I will definitely make sure that is available to you.
I say we do it. Just because.
I'm just going to jump in to a different realm with a tentacle head man.
Yeah.
No thanks.
I mean, technically he's not a Garbanoid. But I'm no longer sure that technically he's a halfling either.
I've not heard of a Garbanoid before, so...
That is true.
He's a...
So the Uniter.
Gardening.
Yes, the Uniter he referred to Xavier as.
Why is he the Uniter? That's
what Xavier has
Find out.
called himself.
Like I said, I will put a transcription up. But he said that Z's intention was to unite the 5 tribes of Shate and restore them to the power they once had.
Is Z just from a god?
No. Yeah. He always was. Did you not listen?
Should have done that second Shate one shot now.
Yeah.
It's fair Z. All of us are Z at the same time.
I'm just going to get the dog out because the dog is like crying and crying, so I think he's trying to get outside. I'll be back in a moment, I'm sure.
So he said he's gone to find the. I think he said he's